Hey gang, Garrett here. Check out this really cool picture wall. Now, wouldn't it be a lot cooler if there was beer coming through it? Let's get it done.
Not to brag, but I've had or set up about every beer dispensing or kegging situation you can imagine in my 25 years of homebrewing. Everything from your standard fridge, a chest freezer with analog thermostat and picnic tap, Korean milk fridge, otherwise known as a display fridge, no fridge, a flash chiller, a classic side by side fridge, a dorm fridge, and several questionably legal public picnic situations. So, when my Magic Chef 10 square foot keezer in my apartment recently went tits up, I used it as an opportunity to battle the final boss, the in wall tap box.
The transition made a lot of sense for my situation because my apartment shares a common wall with my shop. So, I could free up 10 square feet of living space in my apartment, but I could also relocate the keezer to a space that tends to be naturally cooler, allowing it to work more efficiently.
The degenerate beer gods must have been looking out for me because my tool benches are spaced apart perfectly to accommodate another 10 square foot chest fridge. Of course, I was going to reuse what I had from my old build, including my beloved forward sealing Nuka taps with auto close spring. Turns out the old keezer collar fit the new fridge perfectly, but I'll need to slap a veneer over top of where the tap shanks used to reside. The old Inkbird thermostat was an automatic choice. Design for the tap box was both easy and difficult at the same time. Since the tap box was going to go into an existing wall with 16-inch on center studs, my horizontal spacing was fixed at 14.5 inches. Top to bottom, however, was up to me, so after some study, I settled on 17 inches, shown here. Since I wanted to reuse my taps, I needed to accommodate the fact that from base to tip, I'm a solid 9 inches. The box needed to be deep enough as to not bottom out. Here's what those rough schematics look like. The keg faucet up front needed to fall short of breaking the front wall threshold if I wanted to close it in with a secret picture frame in the future. The closed-in box on the back side of the wall needed to be deep enough to accommodate the shank and 90-degree tailpiece, but not so deep where opening the lid and putting the kegs in the keezer would be impeded. Another consideration is allowing for cooling, so I went with a 5-inch depth. This will allow some insulation if need be, and a 4-inch PC fan should I decide to go with air cooling instead of liquid. Finding the studs was easy because I just looked for the staples where I attached the tongue and groove before. Here's the box all squared up and level on the face of the wall. With projects in general, when possible, I always like to do a sanity check with some of the actual items I'm going to be using. Doing things on paper is one thing, but there's something to be said for, yeah, that doesn't look right in reality. I drew out everything to scale and gave myself the green light. I put a long drill bit through the front to see where they came out in the back and then connected those dots. My small circular saw made quick work of the tongue and groove and OSB. I attached some 2x4 scraps to the existing studs at the top and the bottom to give myself something to screw to. Here are the two pieces of cabinet board going in to form the top and bottom. Next, I attached the piece where the shanks went through. Notice the wide flanges in order to screw into the existing studs for strength. I used a 1-inch hole saw to put the holes in for the 3 shanks 3.5 inches apart on the center. Hardware in and tightened up. Let's head back to the shop and finish up the not so sexy parts. A veneer now covers the old shank holes, as well as provides some grab and guide against the inside of the keezer. Hose and plastic clamps were appropriate to anchor both the gas lines and the beer lines to the keezer collar. The carbonated water line on the right is just bunched together because it doesn't foam, and running 25 feet around the collar is kind of a pain. I set depth on my circular saw to about 1/2 inch to notch out from the bottom of the keezer collar for my cooling lines and beer lines in lieu of punching holes through the side. I've got an aquarium pump here in a cold water reservoir to move water up through R1 rated pool noodles and around the taps for some cooling effect. I did learn that the pump adds a surprising amount of heat to the water if on for duration, so I just plugged it into the thermostat, which means that it runs when the fridge runs, which isn't very often. I also tried one of those old school analog timers, but with minimum incremental run times of 30 minutes, that was even enough time to add unwanted heat. Thus far, the thermostat tied option has been plenty, but I still got the option of adding a PC fan pulling cold air from the keezer if it isn't enough to keep up with the summertime months. I slapped a back cover on the box for aesthetics, but also in the future I can line the entire thing with insulation if necessary. Between the tool benches in the back of the tap box, this was actually a pretty tight fit, so I just found it easier to remove the hinges altogether and make the lid completely removable. It's particularly useful to not have to deal with the lid when putting in and taking out kegs.
Alright, enough talk. Let's see how it pours. If you're interested in building other brew stuff, have a look at this video or this video. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.